I mean, it's just such a gift. It completely transformed my life. I've had the opportunity to have 2 children while being on this show with this incredible community, telling stories that I really care about telling with the queen of television, Shonda Rhimes herself. In terms of life, work, blessing, this is kind of the pinnacle of what one could ever ask for. So pretty grateful. It's pretty amazing that we have continued on for so long. What I think is the most fascinating part of this whole story is learning about the fact that these 13-year-olds who literally weren't alive when our show first came out are just discovering it now on Netflix. And we have this whole new generation of viewership that are obsessed and have become super fans and are super connected to these characters and committed to them. So it's neat to see that our show has kind of stood the test of time and that it just continues to bring more and more and more people into its viewership. We're telling stories that people can relate to. We're telling stories about what it is to be a sister and a friend. And I mean, this show was really built on the Christina Meredith friendship, and that's a really neat and unique element to this show. Everybody has a best friend, you know? We have a lot of people who are single who watch the show, but they all know what it means to be in a committed friendship, right? So we tell the intricacies of what the friendship ebb and flow looks like, but we're also dealing in life and death situations, which gets the heart racing and pumping and makes people excited, and they want to know what's going to happen with the guest stars that come on, and people want to cry, and so we give them all the feels so people keep tuning in so that they can feel all the feelings in a space that's safe. It encompasses the full life experience, and because we represent everybody from every different background, anybody who's watching can find themselves in one of these characters. So they want to keep seeing, like, that's the person that I relate to. How are they dealing with this issue? Maybe I could deal with this issue in this way, or, you know, it's neat. When I was pregnant with my second child, my character was also pregnant with the baby that I lost on the show. So it was a very kind of full and emotional experience, and my baby actually was born early the day after we shot the labor and delivery and death scene, and then she had to be in the NICU for a couple of weeks. And what was unbelievable, I mean, it was scary and a big emotional experience, but I had this incredible experience with another mother in the NICU. I had just played a scene literally 3 days before where in the midst of April's pain, she gets to comfort a woman who just lost her husband. And I had this whole monologue that I give to her about how she's brave and that she can get through this and that God will walk with her through it. And I found myself in the situation in the NICU where there was another mom and she had just discovered that her baby had a hole in his heart. And she was just shaking uncontrollably, and I went up to, I'm gonna cry. I went up to her and I wrapped my arms around her and I literally found the words to speak to her. They came directly out of the lines I had just spoken, like 4 days before. And there I am, also suffering because my baby's also in the NICU, and I had this incredible, I had language to pull from to actually meet her in that moment of need, and that had been given to me through the writing of the show. What I think has been the most impactful is that we are now seeing like a surge of women who are stepping into the role of surgeon, who are watching the show and going, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to be a badass surgeon. I want to work my ass off. I want to save lives. And it's because I have a sea of characters to choose from that I want to emulate in some way, or that I see the humanity in, and that I'm inspired by. And that for me is the most exciting part, is seeing women rise up and take the reins in the workforce and recognize their unbelievable potential that has maybe been untapped before the moment that they get to see themselves up on screen doing something like that. So that's a real privilege.
It's a privilege. It's an incredible honor to, be on the show, to be part of something that has been such a pioneering force in television casting and storytelling and dramedy and writing. So that's that's something I'm really grateful for, and I've learned a tremendous amount and continue to. So I'm really proud to be part of the team. It's a unique opportunity to be on a show that has so many generations of sincere, committed fans, right? You've got parents who were watching the show who had kids in season 1, and they're now watching the same show with those kids. That's pretty uncommon. You also have, with Netflix and streaming, so we get more new viewers, new people to the show that are binge watching than we have existing viewers. It kind of keeps, it's this cycle. So you've got 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25, 35, 45, all the way up, experiencing it differently, but most importantly, experiencing it, which means we have, that's a huge demographic block that we have in terms of people who are really tied and compelled by the show. That's a fan base that is huge and also international, right? We're in, I think, 146 territories or something. So any part of the world that I've gone to, every age, shape, and size are serious fans of the show. That's a pretty rare thing. We're lucky and we learn a lot, and that also means we have a lot of people to serve and listen to, and they're certainly present online. They tell us what they hate and what they love. People pursue attainable goals. People pursue goals in life and get ambitions and seeds planted in their head of what they could possibly do because they see somebody that they can relate to doing it. That could be, in their actual lived experience. It could be on television or in film. And for us to have so many great female leads, so many great, doctors, surgeons, people that have agency in their own lives, of color, of different sexual orientations, different physical abilities, all on a huge show, particularly in a climate that has always said none of those things are possible because they're not marketable and the world at large won't have an appetite for them, and Shonda Rhimes has been proving them wrong since day one. So with tremendous success, that means a lot to people, and it means a lot to people's real lives, and people see somebody that looks like them or they can relate to, and command of their own lives and being not defined by their color or orientation or religion, but just being themselves and pursuing their dreams. That makes a big difference. I can certainly relate to that, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of Shonda for her ability to see past all that and not create a world where everybody has to demonstrate their difference. They can just be themselves, and the rest, if we're normal and act cool and just normal about it, you can see how we look and you realize we're not the boogeyman. It's not crazy. It's not far-fetched to have a black chief of surgery or a lesbian doctor taking care of a Muslim patients. This is real life, and this is real America, and we need to certainly take that thinking back. One of the things I really like, which we find creative ways to do consistently every season, is to play with expectations and bias when it comes to making characters vulnerable, putting their lives or their children's lives in the hands of somebody they've considered other or the opposition. I think that we've had several examples of story where a caretaker has come in and not wanted a certain doctor to take care of them, or had expectations about a way of life that are just outdated. And what often happens, and I think we talked about this earlier, what often happens is through lived experience, it kind of evaporates your prejudice. Because if you thought every black person or lesbian or whatever is a certain way, and your actual lived experience proves that wrong in this experience, then that everything else dissipates. It's clearly not true. All Muslims are not like this. You're looking at two that are different. I'm really proud of, we're still breaking that ground this year. I look forward to us we have a doctor in hijab this season. We have a young Indian resident, things that are, long overdue and need to be on television and are a reflection of reality. So I think the casting choices consistently really make me really proud to be here.